All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Closet Door. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jorge Dav, and I am a Master Certified Life Coach. And today we have a very special guest. He is not only an artist, he's a fierce performer and a promoter, a drag queen, and so many other things that he'll be talking to us about. His name is Dominic, aka Euphoria Taylor. So thank you so much for giving me your space, your time to have this conversation with me, Dominic. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing well. I'm just, living life and taking it one day at a time and enjoying myself. So yeah, doing well.
That is awesome. All right. So tell me a little bit about, I want to get to know you, the inspirational source for Euphoria Taylor. So I want to go back in time and I want you to tell me about your background, your upbringing, your childhood. When did you come out of the closet? How was that journey for you?
Born and raised in Houston, Texas, originally. My biological father is originally from Reynosa, Mexico. And my whole biological father's side. My mother is from Houston, with my grandparents from Mexico. Well, my grandfather was, but my grandmother was born here. So I do have growing up, I was very involved within my culture. However, I did grow up with my mom and my stepdad. So like, I didn't get the true experience of like growing up in a full Mexican household, but I got different aspects of it, which now I kind of wish I did because I'm not fluent in Spanish. Like I understand and I can speak here and there, but I wish I was fluent and I wish I could, but we're working on that. So we're getting there. But yeah, so just from a young kid, I'm going to say my father, but when I refer to father, I mean my stepdad, because that's who raised me. I was in sports. He was my coach for everything. To be honest with you, like drag and anything of that sort was never even thought about. Like growing up, that wasn't even like, not that it wasn't an option. That's not what I grew up around. I grew up around sports. I actually love sports. I love baseball and football. So I grew up doing that. When I got to high school, I got involved in the drama club, and I got involved in student council and the National Honor Society. I was a nerd. I was just a nerd in high school. Like literally I graduated top 10 in my class, president of the school. Yeah, I did it all. I did all that. I feel like I lived that typical Disney high school life. Like I did. In the midst of all that, my cousin, who was also like one of my really good friends, and we were extremely close growing up, she passed away my sophomore year of high school. And I think that's when things really took a turn. As far as what I wanted to do with my future, where I was going to go in college, do the college thing, what specifically I wanted, what route I wanted to go to. And in that moment, I was really focused on like the performing arts aspect of high school. Like, yeah, I was still doing sports here and there, but I was really now focused on that because I started looking at the money perspective. They're not going to give every athlete here like a full ride, but they'll give somebody in the fine arts and somebody who has good grades a full ride and this and that for college and this and that. And so I said, you know what, let me hone in my focus on performing. And so I did. I was the leading actor of my high school. I was in every performing arts. I was in every competition, musicals, regular productions. There was a thing called UIL One Act Play that happens here in Texas. I was a part of that. I went to Europe my junior year of high school, and I was able to study abroad, and it it took me in a whole different aspect of life and mentality and everything when I started doing the performing arts. Um, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I got to see a lot of the world. And I was just grateful for all the opportunities I had with that. I came out at 18. Um, and to be honest with you, it was more of like, I wanted to go to a party and like my parents were going to let me. So I was like, I'm gay. And that's what I went to my parents. And so they looked at me and my dad was like, do you want a cookie? What do you want? Like, they knew. And so like, I feel so bad sometimes because I'm like, I don't have this sober story. Like my whole family has known from they say from the beginning, they say from here, they say from there, whatever. But like not once, well, not my biological father, we'll get to that in a little bit, but um, yeah, like my stepdad and all my stepdad's family, my mom, my grandma, like everybody was like, we already knew this. Like this wasn't a shocker to us. Like, and it was crazy. It was like it's one of them things where I wish majority of our community had it as easy as I did. Um, I think that I'm the one that created the challenges for my family and I. Of course, typical teenager wants to be a rebel, wants to revolt against the parents, wants to not get their way, so they're gonna do this. And so when I came out, I was like, you know what? Maybe if I tell them I'm gay, I can go to this party. So like that was my way of just saying it. It just came out of my mouth. And then I still didn't get to go to the party. So
That's what I was going to ask next.
I still didn't get to go because I specifically remember that night. But it's like, it's one of the things where like, I mean, they loved me. They didn't, my parents didn't care. My mom and dad just wanted me to be safe. They wanted to make sure that no matter what decision I made in life, whether that was with a male or female, that I was going to be fine. I was going to be good. I was going to know I wasn't going to get hurt. All of that, all the typical things a parent wants. So then I graduate, go to college. Now college, that's where the freak came out, the flag came out, everything was like, baby, she is a queen now. Like it just, and on top of that, I went to college in Oklahoma. So just for that, mentality versus, I decided to be a freak in Oklahoma. So that's where all that started. I did the frat life. I was in a fraternity.
As a gay person or as a straight person?
No, as a gay person.
Okay.
That's the one thing is like, people think of Oklahoma and you think of like, oh, conservative, Republican, this and that. It was not that at all. Maybe because it was college, they're very liberal, but like my Oklahoma experience was honestly one of the best 4 years of my life. That was just, I had so much fun. I met so many people. I was a part of the musical theater performing arts program because I majored in entertainment management and marketing. And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I grew a lot there. And I really got to see who I am, what I'm about.
So tell me a little bit about about your biological father. How was that experience?
Growing up, I honestly, I didn't like going over there. I knew I had to. I knew that was part of the whole, the law and this and that, or you have to go every other weekend. You have to do all this kind of stuff with them. And the love that I got from my stepdad was what I needed. And that's it. And I felt that, like, just me personally, like I felt that my dad didn't deserve to have my time. Um, and I say that because there are situations that happened and things that were said to where he didn't want to be there. Um, and mind you, my mom and my actual dad, they lived like 20 minutes from each other. So it's not like he was in a whole nother city, state. Like he literally was down the road. Um, and the fact that I feel like he never tried to have this relationship with me, um, I just I gave up on it. I that one part of me didn't want to be the kid that had like to me what I call was a broken home, and because it wasn't like my stepdad raised me since I was less than 1 years old, and that was my father. And to have somebody else coming in the picture randomly whenever they chose to, it it kind of not confused me, but it made me like really start thinking about life at a younger age. And to be honest with you, his wife or girlfriend or whatever the fuck she was to him, I don't know, that she really like she helped influence my decision to not go there. Um, it was one of them things to where he had kids already with her. Well, after the fact, because that was his first. But like that, she would tell the kids things, and it was just an uncomfortable situation when I would go over there. I didn't grow up rich, but I grew up well off. I never needed anything. I always got what I wanted. Um, my parents made sure that I was very well taken care of. And so when I would go over there, my dad and mom would teach me to, never leave the house wrinkled, never leave the house this, make sure you have clean this, clean that. Like that's how I was raised. So I would go over there and it would be completely opposite. And then they would just it would be uncomfortable for me because that's how I was raised. So I don't I didn't know how to be dirty and nasty and like whatever, or like I wasn't trying to one up anybody. I was just raised the way I was raised, and I took care of myself. But I also had, I mean, I was given, I had what I had, and it got to the point to where they would start saying like, "Oh, he's just too good," and this like just making things up that didn't even exist or that I didn't even say that came out of my mouth. And it's one of the things to where it just I was done. That was at 10 years old that I was done. At 10 years old, I was over it. I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like and I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm sorry that my mom and dad moved me out of a certain area of town to better my career, my education. Like I'm not gonna be sorry I'm grateful of anything. And it just going over there always felt like I had to explain myself. I had to, do try to be something I wasn't, and that's just it. It didn't work for me. So there came a time where we went to court after that, and I told them I didn't want to go because I think once you get to like age 10, you're allowed to make a decision in the state of Texas. And so I did. I told them I didn't want to go no more. I didn't want to be around all that. I didn't, whatever. As I was going through high school, my father started wanting to come around, and I would allow him. I would tell him when I would have shows, and I would tell him like things that are going on. If he wanted to be there, could. If he didn't, he didn't have to. He went to some shows, and that was cool. And I thought that, okay, maybe as I'm getting older, we're gonna finally have a relationship, this and that. He calls me, I think, while I'm at graduation. And apparently his whole family was there. My grandma, my uncles, my aunts, him, his wife, his kids, they're all there. But I didn't see them after the fact. And in that moment, it hit me. That was probably one of the hardest moments I've had to go through as probably a teenager, because I thought that you know what, I'm finally bringing you back into my life, and we're good, and you're coming to one of the biggest milestones, the biggest milestone yet at that point in my life. And you're not there. And so it really made me like, it hurt. It hurt a lot because I thought, you know what, if anything, that would be the one thing that they would all be at. Now, if they were there, I couldn't tell you, nobody else saw them. Um, and apparently they were all there and they just left because it got too hot. Um, and I don't know, it's because this is one situation that like I feel like could have gone differently. I wish it would have gone differently.
So, what I'm understanding is that phone call was a negative phone call.
Yeah.
It was not a supportive one.
Yeah.
So that's what led you to stop communication with him. Have you had
Yeah.
communication with him after that?
Yeah. That's what stopped that. Like I was going to give him the opportunity, like, you know what, I'm going to college. Yeah. I would want my dad to, be a part of my life growing up. Because who's to say, like, who knows, who knows what's next, marriage and this and that. And so I wanted him to be a part of all that. But then had that moment in my life where you didn't show up, or at least I didn't see you, and you didn't stay to wait around and take pictures, and like it was the fact that like I don't have that memory of you being there at my graduation. Like I won't ever have that. And it just went downhill from there, where there was no talking to him, there was no siding because he was right, I was wrong. Like it just became that. And so it was that. So I went away to college, and I would, come home for breaks. When I came home for one break, oh, I was full game. I was a homosexual at this point, okay? And we were like, we were booty shorts, tank tops, like, it was already that. And it was summer, so like it was like Pride 365 for me at that point. And I mean, I was away from home. I could fully be myself. Like, yeah. And so when I was coming back, of course, I thought I was Mr. Hot Ass over here, and coming back dressed like however I wanted to dress, wear whatever I wanted to wear, things like that. And I went to go see them. They invited me to a party. They invited me to a quinceañera, actually. I didn't dress like that at the 15th, but like I was with them the whole weekend. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can hang out with these people and like whatever. So then that Saturday night, mind you, I was already 21 at this point, so I was able to drink. I got wasted. I got wasted around everybody. Things are just being said.
Ooh, diva came out.
One thing led to another. Yeah, it did. It did come out, and a part of me does wish that it didn't come out the way everything came out, but the truth had to be said at some point, and it happened that night. That night, it did. That we just lost communication with all of them, with my dad, my grandmother, my uncles, and it was never the same after that. So then, like, moving forward, like, once I graduated, I moved back to Houston, and I got with somebody. I was with somebody for 7 years. Yeah, we were together for 7 years. Within those 7 years, within the first 3 years, I got a phone call one morning from my uncle, there's an uncle on my dad's side that I kept in contact with, just because he lived in Chicago and he went away from the family, and he just wasn't like, we connected on that level. We connected on the level where he wasn't wanted in the family, or he felt like he wasn't wanted, and I felt like that. So we just had that connection. I kept in contact with him. Well, I get a phone call, and he tells me that my dad's in the hospital. Um, in that moment, things just go through your mind. You're like, okay, well, how's he doing? What's going on? Like, and this was pre-COVID. I think it was like a couple of months before it got really bad. So I obviously go to the hospital, visit, whatever. He's in intensive care, coma. Um, he hadn't been taking care of himself health wise. He just was not doing well. Never. I know every time like I would randomly get calls from my grandmother or my uncle, they would always tell me, "Oh, he's not doing good. He's not healthy. He's not this. He's not that." So for those those 2 weeks, there was 2 weeks right after that. Then um, I would literally, just I was in the hospital for 2 weeks the whole time, dealing with all that. As I'm there, all the family's there, and it's just awkward. It's like it's really awkward because they're like, "Oh, um, I don't belong here. Like, why am I there? Like, what am I doing there?" Um, and it was really uncomfortable. Um, so Thanksgiving of that year, I went to the hospital, and then after that, I went to my mom's. And then that Friday, I think around like 6 a.m., I get a phone call from my uncle telling me that my father passed away. Um, in that moment, I mean, obviously, when you lose a parent, there's a connection that's gone. There's a feel that there's a you get this there's a there's like this, I don't know, there's this part of you that like feels like you go away with them, or that like leaves you whenever they leave. And so I felt that. Yeah, I felt that. And so it hurt. It did. It hurt because I thought that we were getting somewhere. I thought that it could possibly, rekindle, all that could come back. Um, the funeral was the most awkward of it all, because like I mean, later on, a week later, they started doing the funeral services and everything like that. And in that moment, um, yeah, there people are talking, and they're just like people, they go up there and they talk, and they're just like, "Oh, so and so did this." Well, I kid you not, like the first 5 people who went up there and spoke were about was there for he was like a second father for their kids, and he was this for them, and then he took them for doing baseball. He took them to the beach. He took them here. He took them there. I got up in the middle of the service and left, and I was sitting in the front. Like I could not take that. That was one thing I couldn't take, because it's like it just felt like it was a slap in my face, because I asked you to do that for me, and I didn't get that. But yet I'm hearing 5 people go up there and speak, different people, and it just showed how like you literally like took care of these people, kids, and you were there for them, and you couldn't do that for me. So it was one of the things where like my stepdad was there, my mom was there, my grandmother, my sisters, my brother, they were there, um, on my mom's side. And like I went outside, I remember the conversation me and my sister had. My sister was like, "Yeah, but you have a mom, you have a dad who was there for you. Dad loves you, like you're his kid." And it was one of them things where you want your biological parent to be that one that supports you 100%, but it just doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that.
Right. Well, first, sorry for your loss, and actually your losses, because it sounds like you've had some losses in your life, at least so far.
Oh yeah, there's more. There's a lot more coming. Two more major ones coming. Yeah.
My goodness. And well, I mean, as sad as that sounds, and as distance that there was between you and him, he's part of you. I mean, whether there was a connection, communication or not, you're here because of him as well. So have you had closure though?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have. Mhm.
Good. Good. Um, so how has that helped you to have the courage that you needed to be where you are right now? How did you take that loss and make that a strength to be where you are right now?
Um, I to be honest with you, with that situation, I feel like once he passed, it was kind of closing that chapter. It closed the chapter of like a hatred that I felt towards him. It also closed the chapter that of just accepting the fact that that was an ending of something that could have been great, but also just accepting the fact that that's what it was. I don't regret anything. I don't regret like, and that's why I showed up for those 2 weeks because I didn't want to regret not being there in his final moments. I can't, like, part of me felt like if I wasn't there, it would have hurt more and I wouldn't have gotten the closure that I wanted. Um, but I think just being there in his final moments and being there, just being in the, like, there with the family and even as awkward as it was, like, just knowing that I was there, even when he wasn't there for me, at the end of the day, I was there for him. And that was sort of the biggest thing. Like it allowed me to grow up a lot as well. Cause I don't know, I feel like people in that at my age at that time wouldn't view it like that. But it was, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, from what you're saying, everything happened. What you said about when you were 10 years old, you were not even in your psychologically formative years to
Mhm.
pretty much form your character and your personality and your, if you wanted, your a priori. So you were even beyond those years, and you led you through experiences that you didn't choose to, and you just had to face on and deal with them the way you knew how to. And it seems to me, based on what you're saying, that you've made them a strength, and you've balanced everything, and you have learned to live your life, up to this point this way. So I want to go back to now, uh, a little bit to understand. We already know your childhood. You already know your experiences, your journey, all the things you had to go through to be where you are right now. So you talked about your performance art, you talk about what you studied, you talked about what you liked. So what inspired you to become a drag queen? What was the birth, or when was the birth of Euphoria Taylor?
Um, honestly, my ex was that. My ex did that. Like I said, like I never watched Drag Race. I never did any of that. I just didn't. I knew what it was. I wasn't oblivious to it. Um, I saw drag queen here and there, but like, it wasn't me. I didn't like that. It's not. I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. That's not something that I didn't go watch. Like, it wasn't the first thing that I put on the television to watch. Like, it just, it wasn't. The pandemic happened, and obviously can't leave your damn house. Oh, we're sitting here, and there's like all these seasons of Drag Race, and I'm watching it. And he was like, "What if you did that?" Because at the time I was teaching theater arts, um, when I was doing my teaching stuff, um, and I was gonna go. And before the pandemic happened, I was like, you know what? I'm making my kids do this. Like, I need to go back, try to get back into theater and like doing it as a side career or whatever. Because if I'm expecting these from my kids, like, why am I not performing, or why am I like, I want to see what's current or stuff like that. And so I was going to audition to be theater under the stars for their shows and stuff. Um, Well, the pandemic happened, everything canceled. So what wasn't canceled were these bars and these shows. And so I was like, okay. So we're watching one day and I was like, you know what? I was like, I could do that. I was like, I think I could do that. And it, we went to go buy some makeup. Um, and I just started practicing. I started watching YouTube. I started like talking to the queens because we would go and watch them. Because that was the only thing that was open. It was like the gay bars or hamburger Marys that had food was open, but you had to wear a mask. Like, so it was just very like random that this happened. Um,
Okay, remind all of us when that was, the month and the year.
ooh, this was my debut was March 4th, 2 years ago. So what is that?
That was your debut as Euphoria Taylor.
Euphoria
So how
Taylor.
long did it take you to, from the beginning thoughts of, I may do it, to getting the makeup ready, trying it out, getting the clothing ready?
Oh, probably like January of that
Mhm.
year. So January 2020. I was like, you know what? We could do this. And then March 4th, 2020 was, no, not March 4th, 2020. I think it's 2021. Yeah. March 4th, 2021 was my debut. So January 2021 was like
Beginning stages.
the beginning stages of doing drag. Um, yeah. Yeah.
So it took you 3 months from the actual idea to the actual execution.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so walk
Yep.
me through the execution. When did you decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it here and I'm going to perform this song and I'm going to talk to this person? What was that journey?
So I had started getting like I said, we were going out to clubs and watching drag and to support the local drag. And there's one drag queen named Adriana LaRue. And I fell in love with the charisma on stage, with her stage presence, with everything that she presented. The costuming, the hair, the makeup, like now she is a trans woman, but as an artist, she just was I mean, she still is. She's gorgeous. She's everything that I would want someone to look at me and be like, damn, like she's just breathtaking. Um, and we became friends and we just started I started asking her questions and we would have makeup sessions here and there and she would help me with all kinds of things I needed and telling me products and telling me where to buy things and how to buy them and where to get them. And it was a friendship that I had. Me and her were friends, and my ex and her her boyfriend were friends. And so it worked. It just worked out. Like while we were in the drag room doing everything, they were out there like hanging out and doing stuff. Um, so it was a bond that truly allowed me to be comfortable with everything I was doing. And she was a sense of comfort, a sense of like support that even if it failed, like it's okay, we'll get back up and do it again. Um, and so she was her and her drag mother host a show, or they hosted a show at Club Poppies in Houston. And it was what is it called? Get You a Piece. It was called Get You a Piece. And it was basically an amateur talent night, where the first place and second place winners get money. And then if there was like another host in the audience, you would get booked for winning like on a different night or something like that. So the debut night, I told my parents, I told my mom probably a month before that. And I had told some friends who actually would go to drag shows with us, hey, I'm going to do this. Y'all should come see it. And it was supposed to be a one night thing. This drag shit was supposed to be a one night. That was it. And that night, the day came. I had my costume. So Adriana's mother, who was Lisha LaRue, She designed my costume. She actually still designs a lot of my stuff. Um, she designed that. She made the costume. She made my pads, and she made like the undergarments and stuff like that. Um, so I had my costume set, ready to go. I yeah, my hair. I got my wigs. Um, I was ready. So that day, I still didn't have my music. Well, I grew up listening to like 80s freestyle, 90s hip hop, 90s R&B. That's just what I love. And based off what I saw in the scene, the crowd really like gravitates towards like disco and old school music is where you're gonna really make your coin. And I was like, you know what? I love oldies. I love old school music. So I was like, let me make an old school mix. I made a mix of all my mother's favorite old school songs. So that mix actually like has meaning behind it, which I've never said anything to nobody about that, but my actual mom, these were her top 4 songs that I mixed. And that's what I performed for my debut. My whole family was there. Friends were there. I had the whole place packed with everybody that was there for me. And it was crazy. It was on a Thursday night of all things. But yeah, like I was saying, like my family, very supportive, extremely supportive of everything. My grandmother was there, my dad was there, like everybody was there. Um, so and afterwards my mom came up to me and she was like, "That's what you should be doing." And I looked at her and said, "Not a damn drag queen." You want me to be a drag queen? That's what you want me to do? Like it was just it's crazy because if you just realize like how I grew up with sports and this and that, and like I would have never expected my parents to be like, "Yeah, you should be doing drag." Like that's just not what I expected to come out of their mouth. But yeah,
Wow.
and I was busted. I don't look nothing like I do now back then. So, but of course that comes with time, that comes with practice, it comes with just the art of it, and like it. Yeah, it was crazy that night. Oh, and then I saw the money. I said, "Oh, this is a good side business." Because I said, "Okay." So at that point, I was money driven. So I said, "Yeah." I basically made back everything I spent.
So looking back at those days, that beginning of Euphoria Taylor, what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned from being part of the drag community?
Staying true to myself. Um, I and I say that because it wasn't Euphoria Taylor at the beginning. It was Euphoria. Then it went to Euphoria Monroe, and I had to cut that person off. And then it went to Euphoria Taylor. And where I'm at currently, I just didn't remove the name, but it I'm 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 just Euphoria right now. And I say that, and this is probably like the big thing, the juicy topic, whatever. Um, I I thought I needed a family. I thought I needed this drag, this drag that, drag parents. Um, then I realized I don't. I I don't trust people. Allowed people into my life that I felt I was being used in some ways. I felt that if I wasn't doing things their way, it was not going to be good. Um, I felt that it was changing who I was as a person. Um, I started hanging out with a lot of people that I would never hang out with outside of drag. I started associating myself with people that I would just like, oh yeah, you know what? Cool, whatever. Yeah, I'm your daughter now. And I just did that. Don't get me wrong. Some of these people were good in the moment. Some of these people we had relationships that I wish could have developed better. I wish that we could have seen eye to eye on more things. But at the end of the day, it's it is everyone there for themselves. It just is what it is. This is the entertainment business. It's we all, and that's what I find sad in this community is we preach about acceptance. We preach about being there for one another. We preach about, oh, if we're not doing this, we're not doing that. If you're doing this, you're doing that. But if you truly look at the scene, it's not rainbows and butterflies. It is it, and the sad part of it all is it's like we're trying to compete and beat each other when we should be there for each other. A lot of that has to do with my ex, to be completely honest with you.
Was he a drag queen too?
No, he wasn't, but he thought he was. I I introduced him to the scene. He was not familiar with the scene at all. In that, he met all of my friends, my friends in that moment. He, I'm still healing from that. I am. I'm still healing from that whole situation. We were engaged to be married. I don't know if this might be to be honest with you, this, what I just said right now, might be a wake up call to most people because he refused to tell people we were engaged, but we were. We had a whole wedding paid for. We lived together for 7 years. There was, I've never felt more betrayed by somebody than him. I almost quit drag. Like, I don't know if you saw, I made a post in like, what was it, like, I think about January this past year, March, February, and I was ready to give it up. I was ready to give drag up completely. I couldn't handle it no more. I allowed drag to get the best of me.
To drag you down.
Yeah, literally. And I don't care for drama. I don't like it. Like I said, I grew up around the sports industry. I grew up doing that. I grew up not dealing with queens and drama and gayness and all. Like, I just didn't grow up like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't grow up with that. So it was a lot. Stepping back into the gay scene itself, and then coming in full force as a drag queen, that was a lot just to handle in itself.
So let me ask you this. How would you compare sports to drag?
They're both competitive. Yeah.
Because there are similarities.
They're both very competitive. Mm-hmm. I just would say when I was on a sports team, it was a legit team. It was a team of people who actually came together to do something successful as one. When you're on a showcast, everyone is there. Yes, we're all there to do our own job. But the moment shit hits the fan, the moment something is said, the moment anything pettiness is brought up or anything petty happens, everyone turns against each other. I think that to me, the main difference would be one is a tight unison of a group, and the other one picks and chooses when they want to be that. When you're on a sports team, if it doesn't, it takes the whole team to win a championship or to win a game. When you're doing a drag show, yes, it takes the whole team to do one show, but you're easily replaceable, and you feel that.
Nobody likes your seat at the side bench, huh?
It's a lot. I mean, it is a lot. Not every situation is like that. Not every situation is like that at all with drag.
So what is your favorite part about the drag queen community though? What is the positive, the good things?
Being the voice.
What does that mean?
I honestly feel like with everything going on right now, that us drag entertainers are the ones on the line, and we're allowed to be vocal when a lot of our community is afraid to say anything. Because to be honest with you, I could put on that damn wig, and I will go on the mic and say whatever the fuck I want to say. But that wouldn't happen if I don't have that wig on. I feel like it's given me a voice. It's given a lot of these entertainers a voice, and for the better. Like, it really has. Like, I think that another positive is where you get entertainment. A lot of these drag queens They could be messy as hell, but a lot of them are very entertaining. They're very entertaining. They will allow you to have a great time. Um, that they could be the highlight of somebody's day, week, year, like, and it's just fun. I think when when you meet people in the scene, and like, people come and go, but when you truly meet real people in this scene, they're there for you. When you meet people who understand what you went through, when you meet people who you could just have an instant connection with, they're completely there for you, 100%. So that's a huge positive that I've figured out. It's taken me a year and a half to weave in and out of people, to weave in and out of situations, but I feel like I finally have found my group of people here in Dallas. Um, did it take me leaving the city? Yeah, it did. Did I do that for drag? No, I did that for my actual job, for my day job. Um, but I feel like I found my drag community here in Dallas. I feel like this is where I belong. I feel like me as an entertainer um, can call these group of queens my sisters, my family here in Dallas. I didn't mesh. Me and some of the Houston girls just didn't mesh. We have two different agendas. And there's nothing wrong with that. To me, you're going to work with people all the time that you don't get along with, or you just won't hang out with outside the job. Um, but truly being here, just being here the 1 month I've been here, I want to do drag. I want to succeed. I want to get a show. There's so many things that hunger is back. The hunger that I had in Houston at the very beginning, when I was getting all my shows, getting all the bookings and doing everything, that hunger is back here. And I feel like it's not going away. It's like, it's back, but it's back in a sense of how am I going to move forward for longevity within the career of this? Whereas in Houston, I was thinking about in the moment. Whereas here in Dallas, I feel like I can literally make a staple and a career here with drag.
So knowing what you know and experience what you have experienced, because it sounds like it's been a lot of struggles, hardship, new experiences, different paths, same journey, going through a lot of different situations that has shaped you to who you are right now. And you even had to go to another city for, personal work, and it led you to where you are right now. What would you say to those people who are starting in the drag queen industry career, that want to become a drag queen, or that are starting but having those doubts that you were having back when you were in Houston, not necessarily because of the drag queen community, but because of everything that was going on through your life? I mean, what are some of the misconceptions about drag that you would like to debunk for those people that are having struggle with it?
Stay true to yourself. Don't be influenced by things that you can control. If you are an entertainer who likes grungy, like sci-fi drag, then be that. Don't try to fit in a mold that is not you. Because at the end of the day, yes, you're putting a wig on, yes, you're putting makeup on, but you're also yourself. If you're not comfortable walking on that stage and what you look like, or what you're performing in, or what you're doing, don't do it. That's what I feel like is a major issue. And also, like, people feel, yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race is phenomenal. Yes, it's putting us on the map. But you don't have to be like that. You can be who you want to be and be good at it. So I feel like these young entertainers see this mold or this image on TV of what they think they need to be like. And it's like, no, you need to be yourself. People get bored by seeing the same cookie cutter entertainer all the time. Like, Be different, be unique, be yourself. That is probably the biggest advice that I could give anybody. And and also it's not being in Texas, the way the media makes it look about how horrible it is to work here and this and that. It's not. It is not. People love drag. People here in Texas love drag. They might say they don't, but they do. I'm on a cast in Nacogdoches. Nacogdoches in the middle of nowhere, and they love drag there. So it's like if you love yourself, honestly, they're gonna love you.
Yeah, if you know who you are, if you know your talents, if you know what you can, give.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what does drag mean to you on a personal level as Dominic, not Euphoria?
Drag means to me. That's great. You took me off guard because like I've never been asked that because like I never thought about that. Like it means I can finally just let go. To be honest with you, I can finally let go and live. Like I feel like this last month has allowed me to do that. Drag has, and the funny thing is, drag has been more like apparent in my life here in Dallas than ever before, and I feel like I've loosened up. I'm now drag is allowing me to enjoy my life, to not take things just so serious, to yes, have a plan, but know that I'm gonna follow this plan, enjoying life. It's not taking life so serious, not I don't know, just it's allowing me to be true to who I am while enjoying life.
And that's what it's all about, right? That's what's important about life, enjoying the journey. A lot of people focus a lot on the destination. I need to get there. I have to arrive. No, we forget to have fun on the journey on our path. No. And if we have to turn left instead of right, we'll turn left and see what happens. And we'll experience new experiences, new life, and learn something different that will lead us to the right destination. And a lot of times we'll lose focus. So that's really important what you're saying. And I'm so glad you finally found your happiness in doing what you love doing, which was not necessarily your first life intention when you were graduating. But I mean, you're finally getting there. I mean, you're experiencing life and experiencing your career path, which is like a drag queen career, which is what matters. Because if you lose sight of what truly means to be a drag queen and perform and the love of the artistry, then what are you doing it for, right?
Yeah, true.
What are you doing it for? So that's really good what you're saying. I love it. So now let's jump, because it's towards the end of this episode of the podcast. So I want to get to know the you, more personal, more juicy stuff, So you said you kept talking about my ex. So
Lord.
Are you single? Are you married? Are you divorced? Are
single.
You what?
Yes, I'm single.
Single.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us what you're looking for. Tell us what you like.
Oh, okay. As far as what?
As far as men or women or transgender, whatever you're into.
Okay. To be honest with you, like I just want to be happy. Honestly, like
Don't give me the Miss Universe answer. This is not a pageant. Euphoria. Give me the real shit.
Don't bullshit me.
Yeah.
Okay. It just depends. Like, you want to know what I like sexually? What do you want to know?
Anything and everything and in between the lines.
Okay. So it honestly, okay. Yes. I like feminine men. I do. And that's crazy because like I do drag, but I mean I like a good old feminine bottom. But I also like a masculine top. So it's like I don't know. It's just I like a balance. I like a good balance. I like, to have fun.
In other words, your verse.
Yeah. Oh, so he's gonna be straight up with you. Yes.
Oh, I told you we
Oh
were
my
going to
God.
ask
So I
questions.
went to the bathhouse for the first time a week ago. And that
Ooh,
was an
do
experience.
tell us.
That I didn't do shit in there, but that was an experience. That okay, obviously, like
Did you go to take pictures or
no,
something?
well, no, I mean, obviously we all know what happens there. So, um, but like when I going for the first time, it was kind of like, what the fuck? I'm like, where did I walk? What did I walk myself into? Um, I would go back. I would, but
Well,
um,
for those underage people listening to this podcast, a bathhouse is a house where you go take showers after sports or after sweating the whole day shopping at the mall. You go to a bathhouse, you take a shower, and then you go on with your day. That's what a bathhouse is. So go on.
you're right. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I just have to be in a different headspace going into that. Like I think I have to because okay, yeah, I've been so being in Dallas has loosened me up, not literally. It hasn't literally loosened me up, but like I'm more adventurous here in Dallas. And I think just because I'm not at home, so I'm able to like, and I have my own place, so I can do whatever I want here. That's yeah. Um, but yeah,
There you go. In other words, Dominic is saying you can go to his place. He lives by himself.
oh,
You can do whatever you want. He's in a new city. Nobody knows him. Go have fun with it with Dominic. Pretty much.
now you inviting me to my house. No, I like to have fun. I like to be kinky. I like to, I mean, we all have our kinks here and there, and yeah, I probably could be nasty.
So are you looking
And
for
I
only
mean,
fun? Are you looking for a boyfriend? Would you like, a fuck buddy, friends with benefits? What are you looking for?
so I've been talking to somebody like as friends, and like, um, and he's gonna come down to Dallas in a month, but I don't know. I'm trying to see where things go. Like, yeah, I've had sexual interaction with, some people. But I am more of a relationship person. That's just naturally like how I am. Like, I don't mind being a hoe. Like, I really don't. But I also like, I don't, I think because I was so used to having somebody for so long that, um, I don't know. I like just spending time with somebody. And obviously, if it leads to other stuff, then yes, we're gonna do all that. But
So pretty much after being in a committed relationship for a long time, you are enjoying your freedom to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it. But if it so happened that someone stumbles into your life with a, committed relationship mentality, you would not be opposed to that.
oh no, I wouldn't. Because and the thing is, I had that me and my friend had that conversation today, and it's crazy because like, we're just talking about like hypothetically, like, well, would you move back here? And he was like, well, of course I would. Like, I'm down for that. Like, I'm open to that. And so yeah, it is. I mean, I'm open to it. I'm at the point in my life where I'm happy with who I am, and I'm at the point in my life to where I wish I was like this in my last relationship, but I'm glad that I'm like this now because moving forward, if someone does stumble across my life and I know exactly what I want, I know what I want, I know what I don't want, I know who I want to be with and what type of person I want to be with. And if that person just so happens to come into my life at some point or who knows, be him, then so be it. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm also not opposed to not having fun or to having fun. So it just depends on like the situation. Like,
Well, there you go, everyone. You heard it from Dominic, aka Euphoria Taylor, or Euphoria.
I will be in Austin the first week of August. We'll be hosting at his house. Oh,
Yes.
we'll be
Tell us
hosting at your
about your
house.
future endeavors that are going to happen in your life.
Yeah, okay. So I'm booked religiously here in Dallas every weekend. I'm on at least one or two shows a weekend here in Dallas. But I will be traveling to Austin the first week of August, and I'll be on two burn shows, I think. The first one I can't say yet, but the second one I will be with Nadine Hughes on her brunch show, the first Sunday of August. I'm not sure where it's at, but I'll send you the information for that.
Perfect. So if
And then I
anyone,
am gonna.
oh, go.
Oh no, you can continue because it has nothing to do with.
Oh, no. Tell us where you're going to be.
Oh, okay. So then I'm gonna go. Then I'll be back in Dallas, and then I'll be in New Orleans the first weekend of or Labor Day weekend for Southern Decadence. So I'll be there for the big old gay party.
Okay.
I'll be there in New Orleans, so I'm excited about that.
Bring me a voodoo doll.
We'll do. On my way back.
That's good.
Yeah.
So anything that you would like to say to anyone struggling with their LGBTQ plus I identity, that someone that is going through any doubts about their life purpose, or they don't know where to go in life, what would you say to them?
Follow your heart. Stay true to yourself. There's always help. There's always help. Even when you think you can't go to somebody, there are always local groups. There are always local organizations. There are people there that are willing to help you. Also, one thing: a closed mouth does not get fed, and that is something that has stuck with me forever. If you truly want something, if you truly need to get something, if you need the help, please reach out. Please say something. There's no reason anybody should be going through stuff, because there's always going to be somebody there that's willing to help, especially within this community. There are plenty of resources, plenty of things. If you could find a hookup on Grindr, you can find help. And like, I hate to be that blunt, but like, to be completely honest with you, there are people who are on these apps that are like, that need it. And it's like, you're on apps. What do you mean you need help doing this? There are plenty. Just don't be afraid. When I know that's so stereotypical to say. You have to really be ready. And even if you're not ready, like, if you think or feel a certain kind of way, then go with your gut.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Very good advice, Dominic. And also, if you're on the apps, please make sure you know your status and STDs, so you can be informed and inform other people, and not just hook up not knowing, because that's a disservice to the community. Thank you very much. Nobody wants to be surprised like that. With flowers, that's a different story.
And there's a lot of those. There are a lot of those. So watch out for that as well.
Get me flowers, not an STD. That's a different story. So, so thank you so much, Dominic. I love the conversation. I love getting to know you better. I mean, it sounds like we need to have like a second episode conversation to keep talking about.
Because there's a whole other conversation that not happening.
I know. There's so much to talk about. We'll schedule it.
Part 2 will be called Relationships.
Definitely. That's coming up, everyone. We'll definitely schedule it for the future. Anything else you would like to say to the audience before you leave? Anything else that you would like to let them know about you, your projects, who you are? Any last thoughts?
Well, I actually do work with the Trevor Project, and that's something that is near and dear to my heart. And that's obviously for youth, for LGBTQ plus QIA plus youth. And that's one of those resources that I did speak about. If you need any kind of help, they're there for you. And we're in the last 2 days, going into the last day of Pride Month. And that's just been something that I helped with one organization this past June. I was on a show, and we dedicate the whole show towards that. So even if you aren't struggling, aren't doing anything, there are other people within our community that are. And that's the smallest thing that you could do to help, to give back to our community. Yeah.
Good. So if anyone wants to reach you, how can they reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook at Euphoria Taylor. Spelled just like the show, Euphoria. Then Taylor. Or then you can reach me on Instagram at VTHE Euphoria EUPHORIADTX on Instagram.
Perfect. You're not going to share your OnlyFans?
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
You're
Dominic.
nasty. You are a naughty little man right there. I cannot wait to meet you in Austin. We're gonna have so much fun.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much.
We're gonna go to the Austin bathhouse.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even know there was one, but
No, we'll just go to your house.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very much, Dominic. Thank you so much. Everyone, don't forget to follow and like and share this conversation so everyone can get to know Dominic Euphoria better. Thank you so much, Dominic. I appreciate it. We'll schedule the second part for the upcoming weeks so we can have that as ready on the podcast, and enjoy the rest of your day. And everyone, please do not forget to not be afraid to live beyond the closet door. Bye, everyone.
Bye.